Hey everyone. I hope you're doing well. I'm doing great. Thanks for asking, Sophia. Um, we're here. We're streaming live. Can everyone hear me over the music? Is the music mix okay, or do I need to just cut it off completely? I can see the chat, so you guys can just respond through the chat. If you can hear me, just give me like a thumbs up emoji or whatever. I hope everyone's ready to learn how to program today too. Um, Hi to both people. Mate, I'm working making logo banners and overlay. Just follow you on Twitter. If you need anything, so follow me back. Absolutely, I will give you a follow back here on Twitter here in a bit. I appreciate that. Um, it's great to have you guys here. We're gonna start off uh, by reading from a short passage from this book called Ask Iwata. And when I started my programming journey, which my website's right here, you can go to speakcodeandenter.com and you can find out more about me. Uh, we're going to start working on this shortly, but for us to get to here to work on this game that I want to do, uh, we have to learn how to use Game Maker Studio. And they have great tutorials. And so we're going to chronicle making all the stuff and learning how to do stuff. We're going to use all sorts of free resources. I give free classes to people who want to learn how to code. I went to New Camp Coding Bootcamp, and these are sponsored by them. The stream is not sponsored by them. But if you want to learn more about New Camp and the mission that they do by providing affordable coding camps, you can do that. There's a little bit of information about that stuff right there, and more information. I started as a comic book creator, and so it's a lot of fun. But anyway, my sister gave me this, and my sister's been a huge person that has helped me in my coding journey. Her and her husband, my brother-in-law, really inspired me to do coding, and so we're going to work on that and stuff like that. But I wanted to read. There's a lot of short passages, and you don't know who Satoru Iwata is. He was a programmer who, from high school, worked his way up and eventually became the president of Nintendo. And he was responsible for the DS, the GameCube, a lot of really great inventions that Nintendo did. And the Wii. He really pushed the Wii and stuff like that. So we're going to start off, and I want to kind of start off every stream by reading a little bit from this book, because this book is great if you want to run a company, or if you want to be a programmer or something. There's all sorts of great little bits of wisdom in here, and I've read it a few times over, and it's just a great book. So this section is from the beginning. It's called High School Years: Discovering the Programmable Calculator. And so this is all like articles written by him and like little blog posts. In high school, before anyone had ever heard of a PC, I discovered something known as a programmable calculator. I used to make games during class and play them with a friend who sat beside me. Looking back, this was my first encounter with games or programming. That calculator was made by Hewlett-Packard. Astronauts brought these devices on the Apollo-Soyuz test project, and they are said to have used them to calculate the angle of their antennas. At the time, they were really expensive, but once I'd saved up half the money working part-time washing dishes, my father agreed to chip in the rest. I went crazy for this calculator. I had no hobbyist magazine to turn to, and nobody to teach me, so I had to figure things out on my own. Through trial and error, I came to realize, hey, I can do this, and I can do that too. In retrospect, it was a pretty unique calculator. First off, it had no equals. it had no equals key. If you're going to add 1 plus 2, you pressed 1 and then hit enter. And after that, you would press 2. And finally, the plus key. This way of inputting numbers reminded me of Japanese word order, where it would sound something like this. If 1 and 2 were added, and 4 are multiplied and 12 is subtracted, what do you get? The only thing missing was the plus, the equal signs. And I don't think most people actually missed it. I was hooked on figuring out how to use this thing like a pro. Playing around, I managed to create a game and sent it to Hewlett-Packard distributor in Japan. They were absolutely baffled. They must have been like, whoa, what's this high school whiz doing up in Sapporo? Speaking from experience, this would be like if some high schooler sent Nintendo a totally finished game that we could put on shelves tomorrow. They must have been amazed. It was funny at the time. I had no idea whatsoever just how valuable this thing that I had made actually was. About 2 years after I got hooked on the calculator, Apple released its first desktop computer out into the world. But as soon as I was able to test one of these new computers, my fantasies evaporated. I realized the computer was not a dream machine capable of anything. To put differently, while I was still in high school, I got a pretty good grasp of what computers were good for and what they were not so good for. I'm really lucky that I had a friend seated beside me who enjoyed the games that I was making on my calculator. That friend was a pretty interesting guy in a sense. I suppose he was the first person to appreciate my work. My very first customer. User number 1. As human beings, unless we have someone to compliment our work and enjoy what we've created, we're not apt to go out on a limb, which is why meeting this friend in high school had such a positive effect on the course of my life. And that's so true, right? Like, you want your work to be seen and you need your work to be seen. And that's something that's really great. Let me text my wife real quick and let her know that I am on streaming so she doesn't just walk in. And that's something that I kind of practice and tell people when I give these free coding seminars and stuff like that. We want people to be able to see things and know everything and see that their work is getting accepted and put out in the world. It's one of the things that helps you continue to do great and amazing things. So I would never have continued in comics if I hadn't got that. And I would have never continued to build websites, kind of like this one right here that you see in front of me. So we're going to let's go ahead and open Game Maker now. Oh, that's huge on the screen, but it's initializing. So if you don't have Game Maker installed during the live stream, don't worry about it. I'm going to have this up in... I'm going to have this up on YouTube so you can watch it there. So we're going to create new because, look, I had already done this back in December. We're going to start a game, and we're going to start with the shooter. We're going to call it Twitch Coding Demo. Let's go ahead and go. And this is just it all making it. All right, so let's go ahead and we'll shorten this up just a little bit. And then we're going to have something to kind of go off of, right? To do things and all that. So the best thing to do is we'll pull you over here. We'll snap you back down. And we'll pull you over. we're going to go to tutorials. And accept the cookies. So we should have sprites, which are going to be right here. So here's this right here. So once you've created your everything, it should be there. So there we go. So objects, right click create, and then we want to go down to the word object right there. And we're going to name that obj underscore player. And whenever you're doing something like this, it's always great to kind of follow along. Yes, there's a visual aspect to Visual Studio or the Game Maker, but you're not here just to drag and drop pre-written code. What we're here to do is we're here to create a game and learning how to input everything. So when you're going through everything like this, we want to do it. So press F2 to rename your... So there we go. We've renamed it. We're going to click on sprite, and then that's going to be the player. So we need some more objects, so we're going to create a new object, and just go ahead and copy paste all the names in there. And so then we're going to check that, sprite, bullet. Oh, we're going to change it to object bullet. Okay. You're going to make mistakes, and that's okay. So we need an object rock. And then that we're going to set to, well, nope. Big rock. So how to make a level is the next step. So once we've done that, you know, we've created our three sprites here. The player, the bullet, and the rock. This is just your simple Atari Asteroids game. Level in Game Maker is a room asset. Look in the asset browser. There's already one for you. So, quick assets. Rooms. Room 1. So we're going to resize it. Open editor. We want it to be 1,000 by 1,000. It's weird that my numbers don't work up there, but okay. There we go. Okay, you just drag and drop. And then we want to put some rocks in there too, so we'll go ahead and adjust that. We'll put a rock right there, rock right there. So we need to go to events. In your asset browser. So over here, add event. And then we want to do step. Oh, we want to do GML code. So that's what we're doing. So but so you can relieve notes and stuff like that. But clean code when you write it should tell you exactly what everything's gonna do. So always put the dot, comma thing, colon, because it'll screw things up if you don't. And then we'll go over here and do the close bracket. So what we wrote right here is if the keyboard is there, check to see if we're pushing the up arrow. Yeah, the up arrow right here. So that's what it's going to do. So press F5, it's going to build the game. And it just moves, and it went off screen. So now we got to make it... So we've got to add this other code. So what we can actually do is copy this, hit enter, down, and do left. And then we want image angle to be plus equals 4. So plus equals 4. We don't want motion add there. So we'll copy paste that again, put it in there, and we'll do right. And then we're going to do true, 0. Now if we hit F5 and build it, and this is something that's always important. If you're coding, you got to build and you got to see everything that you're doing. Even at line 9. Okay, let's see if that fixes it. Oh, I went too far to the left. Okay. That's why there's commas where it shouldn't be. Pesky commas get added everywhere. They're, you got to be careful. But you figure it out. Now it's building. Now it moves. And we can go. And hey, look, it wraps around. So that's kind of cool.